Thank you very much for volunteering with the Down Syndrome Association of Central Oklahoma. There are a few things we'd like to go over with you before your volunteer experience. The first thing is that from each of you, we're going to need a volunteer application filled out. That can be found on our website or by emailing programcoordinator@dsaco.org. If you're volunteering with a group, you can fill out one application, which can also be found on our website. Almost every volunteer opportunity we have involves pairing you one-on-one with one of our kids. So it's crucial that we know that you're coming, and if you can't come, it's really important that you let us know at least 24 hours in advance. We really don't want any kid left without a volunteer. When you come to the Down Syndrome Association, we ask that you be on time and come with a positive attitude. In return, we promise that you are going to have an experience that you will love. You are really going to enjoy volunteering with us. Keep in mind that these are kids first. Down syndrome is just a part of who they are. It's not who they are. They're not Downs kids or Downs people. This is not an affliction. It's just a part of who they are and something that they are born with. Each child with Down syndrome has their own strengths and weaknesses just like any other kid, and they're going to have their own personalities as well. A few tips when you're working with them. Probably the most important thing is to assume competence. Don't assume that they can't do something. Let them show you that they can. If they can't, then that's when you can step in to help. Slow down and make sure that you give them ample time to comprehend what you're saying and to process what you're saying. 10 seconds is a good rule of thumb. You should have the same behavior expectations of a child with Down syndrome as you would any other child. If they are doing something inappropriate, ask them to stop. You may have to repeat yourself, but if you get to the point that you feel like you can't handle something, just grab the lead volunteer or a staff member to assist you. Sometimes kids with Down syndrome will need an extra break, and that's totally okay. Sensory issues are really common, so the kids can get overwhelmed with crowded places or loud noises. If your child or student needs a break, it is perfectly fine to go with them to take that break. But remember, you are in charge of the student we pair you with. So if you're paired with a child, make sure you know where that child is at all times. There shouldn't be any times that you need to put your hands on a child besides in gentle encouragement, such as a high five, unless that child's safety is in danger. It is quite common for our kids to wander off, and some of them do attempt to run. If that is the case, you need to put the child's safety first. Don't forget that you can always get a staff member or a lead volunteer to help you. If you have a behavior challenge with someone you're paired with, make sure to let the staff know. There aren't any situations where a volunteer should be communicating with parents about behavior concerns. Some of our kids, not all of them, but some of them really enjoy hugging or giving tickles or being generally affectionate. If that is something you're not comfortable with, just ask them to stop. If your child or participant needs to use the restroom, please talk with a staff member. We'll need to send you with a buddy or with just a staff member to take care of it for you.
Kylie's Kitchen is a microwave-based cooking class for teens and adults with Down syndrome. The purpose of Kylie's Kitchen is to foster independent living skills and cultivate friendships old and new.
Each volunteer will be partnered up with a buddy so that they can help them complete each meal. It's very important to remember that we always assume independence with our participants. We assume that they can read the recipe card and that they can do it all by themselves unless proven otherwise. You'll know very quickly after you begin whether or not they'll need your help and in what areas that you'll need to fill in the gaps. Once the meal has been completed, we ask that volunteers come back in while the participants are eating their meal and help us by washing all of their cooking supplies, materials, wipe down their station, and scoop all of the excess food into the trash as we don't have a disposal, and help package up the extra bits of the meal into a to-go box so they're able to take it home.
Once the participants have finished eating and the stations have been cleaned, we then move into the playroom where we play games, enjoy fellowship with one another, and have a blast hanging out with our friends. Another awesome place to volunteer is in our tutoring lab. DASCO has hired a special education teacher who creates an individualized lesson plan for each student. Volunteers will be given a folder for their designated student with the lesson plan inside. Volunteers will then be asked to move through the lesson plan with their student. A lesson plan normally consists of a warm-up activity, a couple of exercises from a subject that their student is focusing on, an academic game, and then a playtime reward. Volunteers are not expected to have prior teaching knowledge, but rather a willing countenance, a fun personality, and a patient spirit. If at any time you have trouble with a student or you do not understand something within the lesson plan, simply reach out to the teacher or a staff member. We are more than willing to help. We ask that you discuss all things with staff, and if a behavior issue arises and a parent needs to be involved, the staff will handle that. You will not be responsible for that conversation with the parent. We are absolutely thrilled that you have chosen to volunteer in the lab and can hardly wait to work alongside you.
The Down Syndrome Association also has special events throughout the year where we need volunteers. Events include the Easter Extravaganza, holiday party, dances, and fundraisers. Special events are a lot of fun, but they're not quite as much one-on-one interaction. However, they're great for large groups who are interested in volunteering with us. If you're interested in our special events, visit our website for information about how to get involved.